Hey there, Algebra 2. Just want to throw a couple of these problems on here. I'm just going to do the first one here and then jump down to some of these reviews with the factoring. That way we can address some of those if you have any problems. All right, so system y equals, so we're going to set the other parts equal to. All right, so I'm going to get everything over to the quadratic side. Even though it's a negative quadratic, this is a pretty easy fix. We're just simply going to divide it by -1. So we're going to work with x squared minus 4x minus 5, and we'll find out the factors of 5 can only be 1 and 5. And if I want to get -4, and it has to be -5 and +1. So here's the only difference as we work through that review is that means x turns out to be -1. And notice what I do is I kind of set these up so they're in parentheses already because I need the other half of the problem. If I know that x is 5, so I'm going to plug that in right here. So -2 times 5 plus 2, well, that's -10 plus 2. That's -8. -2 times -1 plus 2, well, that's 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so this extra step of solving the other half, that's because we're dealing with a system. Everything else, I hope, is review. If it's not, then we got to do some catching up here, guys. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we had another one of these. That one worked out as well. And then we started into some of this factoring. And depending on your class, we were able to get through some of this. So here's -60. And we're trying to subtract to get 7. But, you know, I might be thinking I can deal with 6 and 10 because that's pretty common. They're both even, so I can go either which way. So I can make this 20 and 3, but that gives me 17 instead of what I wanted. So let me go back and take my 6, 10 and go the other way. So that means I want to take half of the 10 to get 5. So I double the 6 to get 12, and notice those are the numbers we needed. I do want different signs. I want +12 and -5. So 3x squared plus 12x minus 5x minus 20. Ugh, it looks like a mess, even for my writing. Here we go. GCF 3x, we get x plus 4. I need x plus 4 again, right? All right, so I need a sign changer. So I'm going to take out negative, and 5 and 20 both divisible by 5, or 5 divided by 1 is 5, 20 divided by 4 is 5. Either way it works. So 3x minus 5 equals 0, and x plus 4 is also going to equal 0. So x turns out to be 5/3 over here, and x turns out to be -4 as we get some of these factoring problems out of the way. All right, so if we do 5 times 32, we're like, awesome, that's whatever it is, because we really don't care. What I want is factors that subtract to give me 12. So I'm just going to keep working on these. Let's make it 10 and 16. Well, that gives me a difference of 6, so that's not where I need to go yet. If I double this one, so I don't want that. So let's make this 8. Right, if I take half of 16, it's 8, which means I'm going to double this, so I get 20 and 8. And look at that. We found the numbers that we needed, different signs. 5x squared plus 20x minus 8x minus 32. I know, doubling and halving, it seems like magic, but it's just kind of a process we can work through, and it's really, really helpful. I hope I've sounded the alarm enough for you to agree with me. Here we go. We get sign changer going on here. Remember, 8 divided by 1 is 8, so this is -8. So 5x minus 8 and x plus 4. Those are the two things we want to solve. I know I'm going to get -4 here. That's the easy one. The other one's 2 steps. So x turns out to be add the 8 and divide it by 5, 8/5. That'll work. Remember, we also had some special cases. And if I had a small problem in special cases, remember that ended up in a big answer. And if I had a big problem in special cases, that means I had a small answer. So just trying to keep those inverse ideas. So these, I'm just thinking about square roots all over the place here. 3x and 1, 3x and 1. Signs are to be different, plus and minus. So I would solve these, move the 1 and divide by 3. So x equals positive and -1/3. And over here I have x and I have 9. Signs are the same, both negative, so it's negative. And as we solve this, we're going to get 9, and the other one will also be 9. All right, we have cracked the code. You can give that a try if you want to. Here, I'll stop. You can pause if you want to do it. Okay, now moving on. And next one, all right, it's not all on the same side, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to move the 15 over by adding it. Are there factors of 30 that add up to 11? 30 adds to 11. Well, yeah, that's 5 and 6. So I don't have to use double halves here. If I'd use 2 and 15 and try and get to 5 and 6, that's going to be troublesome. So we're just going to jump straight to it here. Both negative, right? Signs are the same, both negative. So 2x squared minus 5x minus 6x plus 15. Almost got me there. All right, this time GCF is only x, so I need 2x minus 5. I need 2x minus 5 out of this thing here, so I need a sign changer, so it's no, I know it's negative, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, 15 divided by 5 is 3, so that does work out. All right, you always want to make sure it actually works, not just write it down. So we're going to get x equals 3 is one answer here, and 2x minus 5. So x turns out to be add the 5 and divide by 2. All right, so I know I'm going pretty quick, but I don't want this video to go on too long. So fast forward or slow it down, whatever you got to do. Factors of 41 are not going to happen to give me 6. So here's your review on complete the square. X squared plus 6 plus blank equals, I got to move this thing over. So I'm going to subtract 41. Negative 41 plus blank. All right, remember we're going to work down first. So I need half of the 6 is 3. It is positive. And then work back up. 3 squared is 9. So we're going to add 9. That'll give me negative 32. All right, what we're going to do now, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So I have the square root, and I have some factors here. I'm going to use 16 and 2 so I can get to where I want to be right away. A pair of 4s and a 2. So 4 square root 2. Remember, this is going to give me I plus or minus, and I'm going to have to subtract the 3 so I can find out what x by itself equals. So that's our complete square. Looks like we have another one going on here. Okay, so let me just jot it down here real quick. Minus 4x plus blank. So I go x minus 2 squared is 4. Negative 13, we're going to add 4. So I'm going to get negative 9. And we'll take square roots. Well, this happens to be plus or minus 3i. And I have to add the 2 over. So 2 plus or minus 3i. So that works out a little bit nicer as far as the perfect square. And 15 adds up to 10. That's not going to happen. So this one, I'm not going to divide by 3. That's a huge mess. So quadratic formula. So negative b squared minus 4ac. Now notice I have a negative, positive, positive. So whatever happens here, it is going to be minus that number, but it's over 6. So 10 plus or minus 100 minus, let's do 20 times 3, that's 60. All right, so 10 plus or minus the square root of 40 over 6. Okay, remember I have to break down the 40. I can't do anything, any reduction until something comes out of the square root. So I'm going to go with 4 and 10. So 10 plus or minus 2 square root 10, because remember that's a pair of 2's, all over 6. And let's grab a different colored marker. Here we go. So that's 1, that's 5, and that's 3. So 5 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 3 is what we're after here, guys. So that's the full quadratic formula. If I ask you for the number of solutions and the type, then we're just going to do the discriminant. It should be equal to 0 to do this. So b squared is 49 minus 4a and c. All right, so I get 8 times 6 is 48. So I have 9 minus 48. That turns out to be 1. It's positive. So I get 2 solutions. And the type, since the square root of 1 is something I could answer, right? That is a rational number. Let's take a look at the second one now. So it's already equal to 0, so that's a good thing. B squared 4 minus 4 times 6 times 5. All right, so I already know that it's going to be definitely a negative, right? Because it's going to be 4 minus 120. Ooh. So it's a negative 116. All right, so we know that we're going to get 2 imaginary solutions or no reals. But we know it's 2 imaginary. Because if I took the square root of this, I would definitely get I and then try and break down the 16, the 116. All right, so make sure if you need to review a little bit more for the test here. And I'll also have the review in your notebook. But there's your video review.